My, August 24th, last week of the month. Can't believe we're getting on September. Anthony, how you doing today?
Wow, man, it's great to be in 2022. It's fantastic.
Yeah, thank goodness 2020 is so far behind us. All right, we're here for a great show. Let's get to it. All right. It is Monday, August 24th, and Anthony and I are super excited to get another week going. Why? Not just because we have the incredible Michael Suomi of Suomi Design Works on today. You know some of the properties he's worked on in his career. But Anthony, I can't wait because after this show, we're getting in the car and we're driving down to Atlantic City because we are interviewing Melody Johnson, the brand new president and CEO of Borgata tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really, really excited. And so as soon as this is over, I'm packing my stuff and I'm going. Unfortunately, I got to come back real quick tomorrow right after the interview because my daughter's going to college and we're taking her to college. So looking forward to that. But anyway, so I'm excited today. You know how much I love designers. You know how much I love design. And by accident, pre-show, I did a few minutes. We were talking to our guest. And little did I know that his firm was the firm that's working on the Algonquin. And I went down 44th Street on Saturday. And I tell you, walking down 44th Street, which is no row, it's pretty sad. You have the Harvard Club, you have the Algonquin, you have the Sofitel, you have used to be the Whales. I don't know where it is today. Then you have this little hotel next to the Algonquin. I always forget the name of. You have maybe 7 hotels. The Iroquois, you have like 6 or 7. Oh, the Paramount.
Right.
You have like what, 7 hotels on that?
That's a whole lot. Yeah.
So there's no other place I would say in the world with more independent hotels within that square footage. It's almost impossible because that square footage is this big and there's 7 hotels. So I'm just making that a guess, but I can't imagine that there's more hotels. There's more hotel rooms because hotels are bigger. But anyway, so I went down and I was sad. I went to New York. I said, I'm a little sad about New York. I want to go see what's going on. The good news is New York's still there. New York's still great. It's still fantastic. There are, obviously it's Saturday in August, so I had to take that into effect. But you still saw people walking around, people shopping, people outside eating. So I felt good about that. But then I went down 44th Street. And of course, everybody's closed. So that breaks your heart. But I went down 44th Street and everything was closed. The good news is the Algonquin is closed and they're taking this opportunity for a renovation, which is fantastic.
And we'll probably talk just a little bit about that since our guest Michael Suomi started that, but then launched his own company in November of last year and separated himself from that project. But I got to tell you, Anthony, I'm a little sad today too. I had a very difficult weekend. You remember I was all excited about that brisket that I've been trying to do. Did not go well. It went very poorly. In fact, it was probably the biggest cooking disaster I've had in many years.
So this is when I'm supposed to say, what happened, Glenn? But don't bring on a guest.
Yeah, I'm not going to explain what happened, but I know people care about my brisket story, and it was horrific. It was disgusting. It was inedible. It was very sad. The one thing not sad, Michael Suomi and his amazing projects. Let's just bring him and cheer ourselves up. Mr. Michael Suomi, principal of Suomi Design Works Company. He started last November, but before that has been engaged in many projects. Most notably here in New York City, the TWA Hotel and the Conrad Midtown. 2 iconic properties already here in New York City. Michael, welcome aboard the show. Great to see you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
And I'm really sorry you had to suffer through that brisket story. So Michael, I want to ask you about your new company, and I want to ask you about your years in design. However, you started this, okay? I said, Michael, it's unbelievable that you and I have never met each other. And you're like, well, funny you say that, Anthony. So go ahead.
I thought you would be interested in it. How many years were you there, Anthony?
I was only there 2 years, but I will tell you, it was the 2 years that we drew a line in the sand and said, we're bringing this hotel back. It's the 2 years that I got people from Peninsula, from Four Seasons, from the best restaurants in the world working on my team. And I got out of their way and I let them build this hotel to come back. And we came up with a great marketing idea. and we just turned it around, like we changed it.
Wow.
And the pride came back in the Algonquin. We were the front page of the papers where everybody was talking about us. So that 2 years was the definitive moment of my career. I can go back to the Lucerne when I started my career, but I left the Lucerne to change.
I used to live across the street from the Lucerne.
Oh, you want to hear? You know what happened in that hotel recently?
Oh God Almighty!
Well,
my daughter lives at 79th in Amsterdam with her mom, and I hear these stories about the Lucerne, the Excelsior,
right,
the Belclair,
right. And all those
all being filled with
homeless, and
homeless
those hotels are owned by basically a whole bunch of different people, but they all kind of know each other, all kind of involved in different deals. But anyway, so do you live in the building with the Dwayne Reed right underneath it?
No, I used to live kitty corner at the northeast corner of 79th and Broadway. So directly across Broadway from one building over, one building closer to the museum.
Where Cindy Lauper lives.
Yeah. Yes, next door to that building.
Okay, so and you go to Coppola's, or did you go to Coppola's?
Yeah.
The best raviolis in New York City. But okay,
there are great restaurants in that neighborhood.
And you're making fun of me for talking about brisket, Anthony.
So did you like Nice? Did you like Nice Matan?
I love Nice Matan. Nice Matan, and an old friend of mine that I used to work with at Rockwell designed Nice Matan, and it opened when I was living there, and I was like. At first, I felt like it felt a little carnival-ish, like a merry-go-round with the lights, But the more I ate there, the more I loved it, and it's now like a mainstay in the neighborhood.
Well, first of all, you're welcome because I put that restaurant in. We waited 5 years to find the right operator. We got Simon Oren.
Wow. Simon
Oren came in. I sat with the designer you're talking about and his wife. I think it was either his wife or his partner. We sat in the middle where I think he rode a motorcycle, if I'm not mistaken. Was I right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so with their motorcycle helmets in the middle of that used to be a female dress store, and that or dress store, I should say.
I was about to say there are a lot of male dress stores that you know about.
Well, there's a lot of males that wear dresses.
I know the Kilt Factory, on 32nd Street, but
I died over that property. There's a long story that I want to talk about you, not me, but there was a long story there. But yeah, we put in Nice Matan and it revolutionized, changed everything for the hotel, for the neighborhood. So, I met that gentleman and he designed it, obviously. But with that merry-go-round that you were talking about, I was there every step of the way because I was running a hotel. And he put it in, and I asked the construction guy, I go, so what are you guys doing here? And he goes, well, that's it. We just got to put the light bulbs in. I go, what? And he's like, yeah, that's it. Like, what do you mean that's it?
Wait, what do you mean by merry-go-round?
Explain, Michael.
It's a tiered ceiling that's round, and every tier, like there's 10 tiers, and every tier has Edison bulbs hanging from it.
Right,
like you would see above a merry-go-round. And so I don't know, Anthony, there must be like 100 individual light bulbs in that thing.
Right. And you know what? After I looked at it and I was like, listen, I'm not a designer. It's not my restaurant. This is, we're leasing this space. I walked away going, they better have every single light bulb working all the time. and listen, if you know Simon and you know Andy D'Amico, the chef, you know that place was run perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm walking around the Algonquin. And I see its renovation, and I lost contact. I didn't lose contact with the people, but I lost contact with their ownership because different owners. There's been 2 or 3 different owners since I've left. So you got involved in your prior company with that hotel.
Yeah, with Stonehill Taylor. It was one of the last projects I walked in the door, probably 16, 17 months ago. And the hotel was bought by a group in California, Board of Regents for University of California. And they wanted to do a complete renovation of the public areas, of the guest rooms, and a design that would respect the history and the historic elements and all the stories, but kind of bring it into the 21st century in terms of the guests, the guest experiences and modernization.
So I'll read you a text. I won't tell you who the text is from. This is last night at 12. I think it's 12 o'clock last night. And I was thinking about the Algonquin, and I sent a text to a friend of mine that I'll just say works in the hospitality business and works with Marriott.
Right.
And I said, did you see the gut renting? I sent a picture. of the gut renovation of the lobby because it's my friend Kevin Fitzpatrick wrote an article about it, and I'm looking at it, and she writes, "Does it hurt your heart? We will have to have a drink in the new lobby," and I only wrote, "Only if they make it feel like a Marriott will it hurt my heart." so you're talking to me. So they're not going to make it look like a Marriott. Tell me you didn't do that.
It is. I mean, what is it? An autograph collection?
Yes,
Anthony. Yeah. I mean, but they were, working on autograph collection hotels is great because you're designing a unique hotel for every autograph, and their brand standards are really just fire, life, safety stuff, and they want to make sure you're telling a story that makes sense with the property. And you don't have to invent anything with the Algonquin. It's like the TWA. Right. We didn't have to bring anything to the story. It's a matter of like editing. There's so many stories at the Algonquin.
Yeah, well, Michael, when I was there when they were renovating, we were going to do a renovation, and we were doing a PR thing, and that's exactly what I said. I said, throw all the stories you guys are fabricating out the window. I'll literally say I was on a tirade. I went in the tirade. It was like maybe I was there 6 weeks and I was pissed off because they were making the Algonquin. I said, and I literally got this one in my big ears and I pushed it against the wall and I said, yeah, and Dorothy Parker, and what? Really? Wow. So, and I said, you get the point? And I walked out of the meeting. I was like, it's there, man. And you know that better than anybody. So great.
We were one of the design challenges was creating a new home for the cat.
Right.
Like, that's
a good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, somebody texted me going, did you see they took the cat out? I said, well, the cat is on vacation and the window is going to be changed out because they have to do that. So, but you are thinking about the cat, which is going to make my friend Alice very happy.
The cat's probably in the Hamptons. I mean, that cat, it's amazing what the cat does for the property. And it raises money and it's a centerpiece.
Listen, there's another backstory to that because every owners want to kill that cat. And my assistant, Alice, when I hired her from the Peninsula, I didn't know she was a crazy cat person. And anytime, because I'm allergic to cats. So me and the cat, not that we didn't get along, I just had to stay away from the cat because I'm very allergic. I almost didn't take the job over it. And so she always said, you don't like cats. I said, I love cats. I just have to stay away from them. So if one hair is hurt on that cat, I guarantee you Alice is going to drop out of a tree and kill someone. So that's good news. But we closed the Algonquin. We sent her on vacation. We had an animal trainer to the stars come out with a Bentley. All the news showed up. She went out in a beautiful cage with this fancy guy from LA in a Bentley. The front page of the paper said Matilda goes on vacation. So yeah, the cat's important.
That's great. As long as you didn't send to a farm upstate, I guess everything is okay.
So Michael, I don't want to talk any more about that because I want to take away from your story.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the design and what you've been up to. As I mentioned, you did the Conrad Midtown, TWA. You started Suomi Design Works in November of 2019. Before we get into what you're doing now, how cool was it to be part of that TWA project, which really just fits into everything I think is super amazing cool when it comes to design for air travel and what that hotel should always have been?
Well, I mean, given my last name is the Finnish word for Finland, that was very important to me. And it was an amazing project. I mean, hopefully you guys have both seen it and stayed there.
No, we haven't.
No, we were going to, and then this pandemic thing started, and everything just kind of got waylaid. And then we were supposed we were supposed to broadcast for this Alice Summer update last month, and then that got pushed.
So we had a couple plans.
Yeah.
You definitely, when everything kind of calms down, actually probably now is a good time to go see it because there's probably not a lot of people there.
Anthony, I'm going to reach out. Let's try to do a show from there in the next couple of weeks.
So David, if you're listening, reach out to them, David.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can put you in touch with, do you know Tyler, the owner?
That would be great if you put me in touch with Tyler because Tyler hasn't responded to me in the way that I was hoping he would.
It was that was a really amazing once in a lifetime opportunity to work on a property like that. It's an incredible landmark. It's it's beloved, and everyone who's a former employee of TWA is still so passionate about that company. And getting to work on a project like that was a real dream. So. And that's another example, like I said, of a property where there's so many stories in that property. And my biggest fear, hopefully I can say this on your show, my biggest fear was like fucking that up.
Yeah, like, you could say that.
How do you turn a terminal, an airline terminal, into a hotel and not screw everything up that everyone loves about?
And Michael, I will tell you this. There's two things. One, Glenn, once I'm done, can you just explain to people what the TWA terminal is? Because there's people on here younger than us that may not know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'll do all that.
And number two, Michael, you were never so right in your life. There was a 12-gauge shotgun at your head. Everybody in the industry was watching.
Oh yeah,
everybody. Matter of fact, that I wasn't there the day it opened breaks my heart because I think I was traveling and I couldn't be there. But I was watching real close. So I looked at it. I looked at every room, video. I looked at everything on the internet. I looked at the reviews. I mean, I went probably 6 hours dive into that hotel, and you guys nailed it.
All right, so
really well.
TWA, otherwise known as Trans World Airlines, was one of the original major airline companies out there. Think the glory of Pan Am. That was TWA, and they were fortunate enough to have a great terminal at JFK, designed by world-renowned architect Eero Saarinen, right? That was his name. So the cool thing about that is in the 1960s and stuff, it was really reflective of that particular architectural style. Really, to me, symbolized that space age, modernist, futuristic kind of feel, that vision of how amazing the future was going to be. Think Walt Disney's vision of the future, and that kind of is this kind of vibe that you get from this type of place. After TWA went out of business, it closed. It sat there empty for many, many, many years until JetBlue came in. And when JetBlue started, you would actually go in there and originally check in through that building and then go up through these long corridors to this old, decrepit, somewhat feeling temporary terminal. Then they wound up closing the main building. They built this beautiful new terminal for JetBlue. But then Tyler Morse came in, won the bid to build a hotel there, built 2 small hotel towers behind the original building, and opened the doors to this incredible new place that really feels as if you are back in the golden age of flying. Really a tribute to America and all of that kind of stuff. That's why I love it.
So, Michael, do you know why I hang out with this guy? Because he can absolutely on the spot just do that, where I could never do that. Because I run them. I don't know the history. Good job, Glenn.
Man, thank you so much. I'm a real fan of all of that.
So tell me, like the day you guys got selected and it said, okay, you guys are going to be the design crew behind this. What did that feel like? Where were you? When did you get the phone call?
Well, I'll tell you what really happened. So we were asked at Stonehill, I was asked to, by Tyler and his team, to prepare designs for what I thought the hotel should look like.
Right.
And that was pro bono. And that in our interview, we would be expected to present those designs as part of the interview process and a competition. And there were, I don't know how many firms were reached out to. And I called them back and I said, listen, I really appreciate this, but there are a number of reasons I'm not going to do this. First of all, it doesn't, first and foremost, it doesn't reflect the process, the careful and researched process that we go through to craft a story that we build a design around. It's also doing a disservice to my current clients by doing a bunch of free work. And so I thought I would just be disqualified. And Tyler, I was actually in London for an award ceremony for the Restaurant and Bar Design Awards. And I got a call from Tyler and he said, why are you saying this? Why are you doing this? I said, and I explained it to Tyler. And Tyler said, listen, I want you to submit a proposal. You're going to come in for the interview. I understand you're not presenting your ideas to us. I respect that. And I went in for the interview. I was super nervous and presented my body of work at Stonehill to him and talked about my Finnish heritage, why this project is personally important to me. And about a week later, I got a call saying, you guys are doing it.
All right, before we talk about the project, I want to know why someone as accomplished as you would still be nervous going into a situation like that. I think that's kind of inspiring for all of us out there, especially the younger folks that get nervous under normal circumstances.
I think that's such a critical question. You took words out of my mouth. So, Michael, why? Why still nervous?
I still do. I still go to, I've been doing this for 30 years.
Right.
With a new client, I still feel like I have to go back to school and prove myself. And that makes me nervous. And I know I'm competing against other firms. That makes me nervous. So I still get the jitters.
And you know what? And you're competing you're the best in the world. I mean, you guys are, when you're taking on a project like that, you're going against the best people in the world, period. And so you have to be nervous, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that you had, you're obviously a person that cares about what you do. You're passionate about what you do. If you didn't do this, you probably couldn't breathe. But that I can imagine. I wish I was in the room when you were saying why it's important to your heritage and why it's important to your background. Like, I would have loved to see the tears and the heart that came out of you during that meeting.
I think I connect. I mean, Tyler Morris was so passionate about getting that project, and he was the underdog by far pursuing that project. He was up against like Trump and Related and the real heavy hitters. And the only thing he had that we knew in the design world was the Highline Hotel in New York, which was that like 45, 50 room property that he did. It's an active monastery.
Yeah. I did a speaking engagement there.
Yeah. So that was really it. And I guess I must have connected with Tyler and my passion came through. I'm very passionate about my projects, and it's important that I am personally putting myself into these projects, and that comes through to my clients.
So do we have a little bit of his work? Glenn?
Oh yeah, we definitely have a little bit of his work, talking about what he's doing now and going forward, and how he's helping his clients. But I do want to say this before we bring up the first graphic that we're going to go over, is that I think it's so essential, Michael, that people like you and me and Anthony still get nervous. It shows that you're there. It shows that you're focused, and it shows that you're not too cocky, right? To me, it really symbolizes everything that's right before either getting on stage or going into a performance like you did to try to get a job. So I wanted to make that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of competition out there that design hotels, and I never want to be seen as just phoning it in. And so that's, it's important that I now have a smaller firm. I can be selective about my clients. I want to work with clients who are passionate about design. So that's super important to me.
All right, so let's go.
Yeah, when two people are passionate, happy accidents happen. What happened was, there's a joke in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
I was feeling a little bit down about New York, and I wanted to see. I didn't want to read the papers. I didn't want to read what's on TV. I wanted to go see, and I wanted to go see what the Algonquin looks like, because I heard it was under renovation. See if it's still going on. And so just Saturday, because I'm passionate about that, and then all of a sudden I meet you today, and you explain to me what's going on. You explain the backstory. You explained it pre-show, so you don't need to do it again because I don't want to waste time. But like, it's just fascinating, and that just came out of passion. No one told me, why don't you go and see what's going on? So Michael, you prepare for Michael. Like, I never prepare for any guest, and I prepared for you last night simply because you're a designer, and I was really curious if you designed any hotels in New York City. So I wanted to see a little bit. I mean, I didn't see the Algonquin. I didn't go that far. I just kind of went. So anyway, it was maybe a 2-minute deep dive on you, but it just says, like, when young people talk, and I love that you were nervous because, like, how do I get there? What do I do? Just love what you do, man, and just go, and then fall down, break shit, make mistakes, throw up in the bathroom because you're so nervous, but just keep going, right? Shit that you did, Michael, that we all do.
Yeah, I know. In New York, there are some great cities in the U.S. that have fantastic hotel design firms in them. Architecture firms. We all know where the headquarters of the big ownership groups are. And New York is one of those, but New York is really the epicenter of amazing hotels.
Yeah, absolutely.
And amazing hotel design. And I'm lucky to be there. I'm lucky to have a company there. And you get, when you're in New York and living in New York, Anthony, and you're very well aware of this, you know what's going on from a hotel standpoint. And at Stonehill and now with my firm, I get to hear about all the upcoming work. And many times I get asked to submit a proposal for stuff.
I remember being in the Hudson Hotel when Schrager did it. And I went up that escalator and walked into the lobby. And I was just like, no one's ever done this before. This seems really interesting and really weird. And I was there with the Monastery Hotel, and when just like I show up if there's a hotel day one. I remember even on the Ave Hotel up on 7. Remember on the Ave Hotel?
Yeah. I worked on that hotel. I converted it to a Nilo when that was a brand.
Oh my God, Nilo! And for those of you who don't know, the current CEO of Red Lion Hotels, John Russell, actually helped create that Nilo Hotel.
Okay, well, I was there day one when they opened on the Ave. I was asked to be the general manager. Actually, I was there that day with the floating beds and all that stuff, and it never really got off the ground. We used to eat its lunch.
What are you talking about? You just said they had floating beds.
We used to eat. We used to, that's what I thought. We used to our RevPAR, our average rate. We used to kill them. The Lucerne, that just very quiet little well done hotel. We used to kill it. But anyway, so let's look at the
yeah. Before that, hey Jay Peacock, great to see you. Loves that plane as a bar. They refurbished Connie Airplane is in the back if you want to go have a cocktail in there. All right, bringing up the pictures. Boom. What are we looking at here, sir?
This is I was asked to design a 20th anniversary line of fabrics for Stacy Garcia's company.
Yep, she's awesome.
Libatex Fabrics, and I think this is pre-launch, so this hasn't been released yet, and I think she's launching it. And I was inspired by one of my favorite books is the Odyssey, and how Odysseus spent 20 years after the war trying to get back home, and that's how I kind of feel right now. With the pandemic going on. And so I developed a fabric that kind of represents that turmoil and storm that we're all in.
No, you know what? You represent it really well, because my brain is that fabric right now.
That's awesome. All right, Jeff, we could go to the next picture.
Same thing. I think it's a number of different colorways.
Yeah, all right. Go to the next. Go next.
Wow.
Yeah, there you can see it a lot better.
That's gorgeous.
Yep. And the next one. Boom.
Oh, this is a unique project. So when I left Stonehill to launch my own company last year, there were 3 projects that I was working on designing at Stonehill that the owners asked me to continue in my new firm as the design director. And work with
number Stonehill. One, a time machine to take you back to the late 70s or something?
Yeah, this is Rockridge Capital bought this hotel that was built for the 1982 World's Fair, and it's on it's the hotel on the left there.
Right, of course. Michael, for our podcast listeners, explain what we're looking at.
This is it's an image from an advertisement from the 1982 World's Fair, which was the last World's Fair held in the United States. And like every World's Fair, the city, this is in Knoxville, Tennessee, and the city built a huge fairground, and they built this tower they call the Sun Sphere with this golden orb on the top of it, and water features and an amphitheater and an aerial tram, and they built this hotel. It was the fanciest Holiday Inn in the world, and it was built for all the international exhibitors coming to the World's Fair. And Rockridge, Jim Merkel bought this hotel, and I've been working with Stonehill on converting it into a brand new property that celebrates local craft and local makers, and will have a maker's market in it, like a market of 20, 30 of the best local craftspeople selling their stuff.
I thought you were going to say there was going to be a maker's mark in there. I was excited about that.
I tell you, I was only in Knoxville once. I was talking with the president of Travel or Scripps Networks, because Scripps is big there, and I love Knoxville. And so you're still working on that project?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, let's see. Do we have another picture?
When's that opening?
2 years.
Wow. Are they still going forward with it?
Yeah, they are. In fact, Jim and Rockridge Capital. I mean, Jim's a unique guy. He's, it's a private equity company focused entirely on hotels. And Jim has asked that we accelerate his projects during the pandemic as much as possible.
Yeah, we got Jim's another guy that we have to get on this show. He's been in the industry for many years, is very well known, and is one of the smarter folks in our industry. So I like that you're saying that he wanted to accelerate the projects. That's gutsy, but also pretty logical, thinking that he's going to have an opportunity of advantage when all of this is over to be in the first position in the markets that these products are in. Do you think what he's thinking?
I think there's that. Let's bring it to market faster. If there are any advantages of striking deals for construction or fabrication during this downturn, let's do that as quickly as we can.
Right.
Let's take advantage of everything slowing down so that we can get going faster.
That makes a lot of sense. And so the audience understands that just before this pandemic issue started, construction was getting extremely expensive. It was really putting the pinch on people, not just labor costs, but supplies as well. Now that this has happened, a lot of projects have been put on hold. And the silver lining for some owners and operators is they can get goods cheaper, they could get labor cheaper, and they could get projects done faster.
Design firms were so busy, and now I imagine design firms are also looking for work. So it's a good opportunity if you have a hotel to really kind of to start it. So what's the one change, Michael, as we're going through the pictures, we can go through other pictures, that you've made to a hotel that you're designing that factors in COVID?
Well, we have a lot of discussions about it. And everything I'm working on is got a 2-year window for, opening, 2 to 2.5 year window. And my clients all expect this to be over. And so we have meaningful discussions. Like there's the image that you guys have up now is for a new project that I'm doing in Asheville, North Carolina. In that hotel, we're designing 2 lobbies and we're providing a lot of public space in that hotel. This is an image of a coffee shop that we're designing in that hotel. This is a very early rendering, but it's a coffee shop during the day and transitions into a disco at night. The DJ will be in that copper ball at night. That ball will open up.
Right. And I love that, Michael. The design is gorgeous, but I'm in this moment, I'm talking about using spaces on different day parts for different reasons, which is really essential to making sure that every single square foot in that building is generating cash flow.
Yeah. It's not just cash flow, but it's future-proofing it against, social distancing. So we're making sure that we're providing 24-hour programming for all the spaces, and we're providing redundancy as needed.
Well, that's brilliant. I'll tell you what I love about this, and that's why one of the reasons I love design, and I love being around designers and just talking to designers, because you take that sculpture out in the middle, and you just have a really nice space. You put that in the middle, and that just not only anchors the space, but really is breathtaking. And the simplicity of it, you must either be really, really crazy or really, really simple. So I'm going to go on the really crazy side, because that really because I've been in these meetings, I've been in these spaces, whether it be the Intercon in the city, or whether it be a lot the Staybridge Suites, or a lot of places I've been on from the ground floor up, and it gets real complicated until somebody comes in and goes, "Here you go," and you're like, "Oh, that looks simple," but it took us a year to figure it out. But so I truly appreciate the simplicity and beauty and elegance of that space.
Yeah, this is what you have on the screen now, is that same project. It's called the Radical, and the ownership group is Hatteras Sky out of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And they acquired this pair of buildings that are very old. They're early 1900s industrial buildings that are the one that we're putting the guest rooms in and the lobbies and 5 F&B venues is brick and concrete, and that's all that's left. It's hasn't been occupied in 30 years. Wow. The windows are gone. And also it's been covered in street art over the last 30 years. Here's a picture of the 2 buildings. So the one on the left, we're going to be working on both buildings. We're working currently on the one on the left. That'll be a 70-room hotel.
And what city is this? I'm sorry, what city is
Asheville.
it?
Asheville, North Carolina. Okay. And so we're working on a design that really celebrates the brick the concrete floors, the concrete columns, and the street art, which the inside is covered in street art, graffiti.
It better have nice furniture. It better have nice furniture if it's going to be in Nashville.
Yeah, we're designing it to a luxury level, but we want to keep all of those raw industrial finishes and all the street art exposed as part of the design.
You know, that looks like Far Rockaway 20 years ago. That looks exactly like, I'm serious, that looks exactly like Far Rockaway.
Wow, that's beautiful.
This is, we're working on 2 model rooms. We just released the documents, but I've got a couple of renderings. This is the standard king. We have very high ceilings. We're exposing the board form concrete that's been there for 100 years and exposing the masonry walls, and then putting in unique elements that are sculptural in nature and designed to feel like something that's in stark contrast with the concrete, brick, and street art.
What's the square footage of that room, and what's the spacing between the bed and that shelf?
The bed and the shelf, there's about 4 feet between the bed and the shelf, and then there's about 9 feet between the bed and the window wall, which is where we're viewing it from. Right. And the rooms, this room in particular, is about 295 square feet.
And the reason I said that, because I know there's somebody looking at that slide and going, the room, you have no room to move, because the angle, it looks like there's no room between the wall and the bed. So I wanted, and I knew looking at enough of these kind of vision boards that you would, at least 4 feet.
Yeah, but you know, I can see why people would feel that, especially because people who stay in hotels in New York City, they're super, super tiny. But Michael, let me ask you, what is the biggest opportunity and the biggest challenge when working with an existing structure such as this building here?
Well, this building is, they're applying for historic tax credits. You know, they're landmarking the building. And so one of the challenges of that, and it was the same at TWA, is you're required to preserve and restore and showcase the original, what finishes exist on the inside that are considered original. In this building in particular, it's the brick walls and the concrete ceiling and the concrete columns, and designing around that so that those become main elements. And there's a lot of considerations when you're exposing a structural exterior wall. Like, there's no insulation in that wall.
Right.
We can't put power in that wall. The brick wall where the windows are is original, and we're keeping the street art. We're keeping all the graffiti.
I love it.
So that was already there.
Oh yeah, the inside is covered, and it's an amazing collection of art on the inside of the building. And
don't say it's too amazing. The graffiti guys are going to come in and start to demand payment.
No, I'll tell you something. That graffiti, when I knew it was original. You could just see. Like, it's just perfect. You could feel the authenticity. I did a hotel called the Brooklyn Hotel in Crown Heights, and with a great designer. And we had a brick wall like that. It wasn't a landmark. We had a brick wall like that, and it was beautiful. We didn't have the graffiti, but I'll tell you, our wall was beautiful brick, and it really gave a sense of that, you know, old world charm. But I just wish I would have seen this picture before I would have stole your idea.
Yeah, so you know, this is a great opportunity. We love this project. The client is great. They're letting us be as creative as we want to be on this project.
Yep. Wow. Interesting. All right. That's really fascinating to me. Let's go to the next one. Jeff, let's see some more design stuff. All right. So obviously this is the raw.
This will be our 3-meal restaurant. Oh, this is with Jim Merkel. So this was another project that I started at Stonehill and I remained working on it as a design director.
Right.
The Rockbridge has owned in Louisville, Kentucky, the Seelbach Hotel. Are you guys familiar with the Seelbach?
I'm not.
It's like the plaza of Louisville. If you go to the Kentucky Derby, this is the one hotel everyone wants to stay at. It's a very historic Beaux-Arts hotel. And from the outside, it's got all the same Beaux-Arts bells and whistles that the Plaza Hotel has. And it, like the Plaza or like the Waldorf Astoria in New York, the hotel needs all new plumbing, all new electrical. And so I've been working with the Rockbridge on a complete gut renovation of this property. And it's also a historic tax credit project. So we've got some great historic interior spaces. And then we've got spaces where there's nothing that's historic. And like the guest rooms, this is a shot of the double king bedded model room.
It's fascinating. Every time I'm on a show, I always feel like maybe listen, I started where I started and I went in operations, but if I would have met you when I was like 19 years old and you would bring me on a couple of these projects, I think I would have loved the design process of the hotels, because I get excited every time I see these kind of projects. And we had something at the Plaza Hotel, because I was director of front office operations at the Plaza when I was younger. And we had something called the S1 rooms. And the S1 rooms, which means if a guest pissed you off, that's the room they went into. And it's about as big as that. The whole room was about the size of those two beds. And so I would have loved to see what you could do with it. Did you ever work on the Plaza?
No. Stonehill did before I started working with them. I think Stonehill worked on, Paul Taylor worked on the Plaza in the late 90s.
Well, he knows the S1 rooms very well. We never sold them until we were sold out, and we would basically, they were the broom closet of the hotel, and we would have to basically beg, borrow, and steal for people to go into those rooms. They were smaller than the smallest room at the Paramount Hotel.
Wow!
Oh, really?
Yeah,
broom closet indeed.
yeah. Like you know how in Paramount you would have to like crawl over the bed to get to the bathroom.
The smallest rooms in the Paramount, the door would hit the bed.
Right. Well, in these rooms, you didn't have a bed. You had to basically have it on the wall and it came down. It was like,
really?
Yeah.
The unique thing about Jim Merkel and all of his properties, including this image we're looking at now, is any double bedded room, they want it to be a double king. That's their Rockbridge standard. All beds in the hotel are kings, whether it's a single bedded room or a double bedded room. So that's a unique challenge, because that's not something that's normal in the industry.
Yeah, it's much better than the double queen rooms that they sell that are actually double doubles.
Right. Well, that's the reason that's interesting from an operations standpoint.
Yeah.
One, then you have way too many. You have way too many room categories, and then you're lying to people, and then people come in and they say, so just put king beds in. I've said that early on. There was one hotel, I can't remember what hotel, and I forced the owner. I said, we have to put king beds in, and we just got to get a design and figure it out. And he figured it out, and it worked. And just from a marketing standpoint, a market segmentation standpoint, when you're doing revenue management, it's just so much easier.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So, Michael, being that we are in this COVID era right now, and earlier you were talking about designing stuff with the thoughts of physical distancing in mind. How do you design things with the thoughts of physical distancing in mind, while also considering the fact that these buildings are going to be around for a long time, hopefully a long time longer, post this COVID situation that we're going through now?
Well, I mean, the physical distancing in the public areas boils down to, if you own a hotel now, you're removing furniture, you're moving furniture apart, you're putting other elements in the public spaces so that it doesn't look like it's just a bunch of furniture groups that are 6 feet apart. Right. You're putting in screens and plants and other elements. And from a standpoint of long-term design, none of my clients are asking me to design a hotel for permanent physical distancing.
Right.
But how about from a ventilation standpoint with the UV light and stuff like that?
The UV light has been a big discussion amongst my clients. I've been working with a gentleman designing a line of mirrors, and he's pushing that into the industry. He was doing it for the medical industry, and it was mirrors that emit UV light to clean the sink and the area around it in the bathroom.
Wow,
and that's cool. That's been a big point of discussion. Designing. One of the things that I am doing is designing bathrooms that are easy to clean and that appear clean when they're clean. So limiting the cracks and crevices. Like for this hotel in Asheville, I'm really pushing wall-mounted, wall-hung toilets that have in-wall tanks, which is something that I've done on many hotels. And that just frees up the floor underneath the toilet, and you don't have all those gross cracks around the toilet.
Right. That's interesting. So this is something that's practical thinking for now and for all time in memoriam.
And it won't feel like, oh, you did it for COVID. It just seems cleaner and better. And that's what's interesting about this entire proposition, especially for the hotel business, is we could hire smart people like you, get out of your way, and we would do this anyway. If you presented this design before, we would have probably liked it anyway. So it's not like it looks like a hospital. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are great materials out there. The porcelains that look exactly like stone, so you don't have that problem of porosity and longer term maintenance. So the bathroom is a really easy area to improve on the design and still make it look amazing and high quality and beautiful materials.
Well, Michael, have you ever gone out to Porcelanosa in Spain and seen their headquarters and all their products?
You know how many people have asked me that in the last 2 months?
How many?
I haven't. They keep inviting me, and I've been very busy.
Okay, Michael, I will tell you this. As a hardened New Yorker, as a hardened operator, as a guy that's seen a lot of stuff in the business, probably went through a lot of the wars you went through, I had my oh shit moment when I was at that factory. I literally was basically flawed, blown away, and shocked. So you need to go.
Yeah, it's the most incredible factory that I've ever seen in my life. And I might add, because what would me saying something without talking about food make sense? Great catering as well.
Yeah. He pushed the button. He goes, the gentleman I was with pushed the button and he said, you want to have lunch? I said, sure, I'm hungry. And I thought we were going to go somewhere. He pushed the button, all of a sudden a 5-star restaurant opened up.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Kidding.
Yeah.
It was, you thought you were in a 5-star hotel. Like, it was brilliant. I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead.
Andy Pennington, I've known Andy for a long, long time. He's very, very generous, and he's invited me to go there many times, and he always invites me to go to the AIA Awards in New York, and he's such a gentleman. And my office in New York was right around the corner from their headquarters, and they make amazing stuff.
Yeah, so please take Andy up on it. Just make sure you don't lose your cell phone when you're in the terminal in Spain. But they were and on that trip. I played poker. I won a poker tournament in Madrid, so that was good too. But it was. I'm telling you, it was worth the trip. It was one of my. I've traveled 250,000 miles on a yearly basis for the last 10 years, and that trip stands out more than almost any other trip.
Yeah. I wanted to say something about that. I think, in my opinion, from a travel standpoint now, the best thing I can do to help support the hospitality industry is to start traveling again and start staying in hotels. And I've been the last couple of months, I've been on 7 flights. I've stayed in 5 hotels. And I think we're all in this industry. And that's, we were talking about before the show, I think it's really important to start setting an example.
So just so you know, since you said you're traveling, Andy will be outside your house in about 10 minutes.
Michael, what have you learned during this traveling in the last few months about yourself, about how hotels could be doing a good job, or stuff that they're doing great already?
Well, I think I mentioned this to you, that out of the 5 hotels, I've stayed in 5 hotels. The 4 of them were Hilton branded hotels, and 1 was a Marriott branded hotel. And I felt super comfortable in all of the properties. And they were hard brands. Like, I stayed at the Hilton at Logan Airport. I stayed at the Foundry Hotel in Asheville, which is a Curio, I think, with Hilton. Whether it's soft branded or hard branded, they make me feel like they're going overboard in terms of cleaning, especially cleaning, making my experience for check-in and getting to my room as touch-free as possible, providing me with F&B opportunities that are different than they were, but they're just as good and just as convenient. And I felt really comfortable in the hotels.
And that's so critical for people to really understand and to really listen to, because I say it all the time. I'm a big mask guy. You better be wearing a mask if you're around me, if you're in the closed space in New York City, because you're supposed to. But that doesn't mean I don't want to travel. That doesn't mean I don't go to the restaurant. I go to a place called the Bungalow Bar, okay, in Rockaway, New York. And I went there. I was a little nervous, and I will tell you, they blew me out of the water. They're on the water. They're building, actually. Have you heard about the Rockaway Hotel?
No. I love the Rockaways. I love Rockaway Taco. That's my favorite.
Okay, okay. So if you're going to love this place, so go Google and look at Rockaway Hotel. I walked in the hotel. My friend Terrence Tubbety brought me around, and I'm telling you, when you walk into a building that you had nothing to do with, like, you're just hyper like aware. You're just like, I'm not going to say anything.
Critical.
Right. You're not going to say anything because it's a friend, but you're ready to pounce.
Yeah.
I looked at him when I was done. I was like I couldn't add anything to this project. I was saying to myself, I didn't say it to him. Like the bones of it was perfect. The layout was perfect. The flow was perfect. Thought about the waiters, thought about the busboys, thought about the housekeepers, and the flow was amazing. So we're going to actually, I think it may be on the docket already. We're going to do our podcast from the Rockaway Hotel. So look for that, and I'll show you around. But just it's incredible. But anyway, so they own a place called Bungalow Bar. And it's on the water, it's on the bay, and they just did it perfectly. And they have a manager who's fantastic, and Katie, and she just runs around and she's just perfect. And everybody feels comfortable. So I've been there 5 times already.
Wow.
You're doing well. You can go out.
Where is it located?
The Bungalow Bar, you know where the ferry is?
No.
Well, there's a new ferry. There's a new ferry from downtown Manhattan right to Rockaway.
Oh.
Yeah, and we had 7 million visitors to Rockaway last year.
What? Oh, that's amazing.
7 million. So yeah, the ferry, there's lines so long when I drive through that area, and but it's great. Rockaway Taco's right there. So if you know where Rockaway Taco is, it's not too far from Rockaway Taco. I'll say that.
Now I want tacos. Michael, we're starting to run low on time. Let's go through a couple more of these photographs, if you don't mind. Let's there we go. Boom. So back to this bar. What is this bar? What's it about?
We're in the Seelbach Hotel, Merkel's Hotel in Louisville. We're doing 5 new F&B venues in there. And some of them are in historic spaces where we have to restore the existing finishes, and I think I have an image of that. This one is in a space that we're gutting, and we're creating this sort of secret library bar that is it's adjacent to reception, but it'll be hidden, and it'll only be open certain times of the night. And we're working. There's an amazing existing it's called the Rathskeller in the basement. That's all ceramic. It was built, 100 years ago. The walls and the floors and the ceiling are all handmade ceramic tiles, and they're by a company called Rookwood Tile, which is still in existence. And so we're working with Rookwood to make an amazing fireplace in here.
Awesome! If I had a man cave, this would be it. And if I had a club, where I grew up in Brooklyn, so we had a lot of clubs back then in Brooklyn, and the Italian guys had a lot of clubs. If I had like a illegal poker room with like people dropping 100, 200 grand a night at the poker room, this would be my poker room. I just absolutely, it talks to me on every level: cigar, scotch, and poker.
Oh yeah. You have, Anthony, you have a little bit of that behind you where you're sitting.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Dark paneling. Yeah.
All right, so next picture, please.
Ooh. This is in the same hotel as Seelbach. This is the historic reception area, and this is one of these spaces that's been completely restored, including the mural and the lay light on the ceiling, the skylight, and we're turning it into the center bar for the hotel.
Was this originally a hotel when it first opened? Because it has that old school banky kind of feel.
Yeah, it was originally a hotel, and it opened as a Seelbach. It was built by the Seelbach brothers who had immigrated from Germany to Louisville, and it's been a hotel ever since, and it's been under different management and different brands and different flags.
Now, if you're a general manager, okay, I'll just talk for me, and this hotel needs a general manager. You walk into the owner's office, you take the keys to the hotel and go, I am now your general manager. Like I don't need an interview. I'm running this hotel, and you have to call the cops to arrest me. Like that, like I look at this hotel and I'm like, if I lived there, like I would leave my career that I'm doing now, walk in this office and go, I'm your general manager.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, you just listen, I mean, I come from these kind of hotels, and you just, God, you just.
All right, next picture.
Sit there forever. Did you see my mouth? My mouth.
Oh, we saw that one.
Did you see my mouth drop when you showed me the picture? I wish you could.
Yeah, I know. I want to apologize to all the folks listening on the audio feed for today's show because it's so highly visual. We promise tomorrow will not be so much.
Please go to our pages, our LinkedIn, Facebook page, and please look at the show because it is absolutely it's design porn.
Yeah, this has got that. Forgive me, Michael. I don't have the design vocabulary, but it feels very of that Radio City Music Hall kind of vibe, whatever era that is.
You hit the nail on the head. This is how I launched my new company. I designed this amazing booth for a show we all love, BDNY. And I launched my new company at BDNY last November. And this was an 800 square foot booth. And I designed a big bar and then a bedroom at the luxury level. And I drew all my inspiration from the golden age of skyscrapers. So think of the Chrysler Building.
Yep.
And the Empire State Building. And Radio City.
Top of the rock, Radio City. Right.
Yeah,
Still
exactly.
Rockefeller Center to me.
Radio City Music Hall was the inspiration for the art piece, the painted mirror that's in the center of this image. So
awesome.
Yeah, and I just found out that this is I'm up for a International Restaurant and Bar Design Award for this.
Wow! Congratulations!
So, yeah, you know what? It's always exciting to work on these things, and you know, Michelle Finn and Stacy Shoemaker do such a great job with their shows. And I always feel honored to get to do these kind of things.
Right. Michelle Finn, of course, does the BDNY show. Yeah. And Stacey Shoemaker runs HD Magazine, which does HD Expo annually in Las Vegas.
And because of Glenn, I got to meet all these great people. She's a wonderful person. And I was actually on design. I don't know if you got involved at that Hilton design competition she threw.
Oh, through Stacey. Yeah, right.
Stacey and me and Bobby Burke were the judges. Were you involved in that?
I was. I have Stonehill Taylor. I submitted a team, and Vanessa Watts was the lead designer on that project. And she met with you and presented her design. Her design was a little crazy. It had like a iconic sculpture totem in the middle of a sunken living room, and the bathroom was deconstructed. And I think she wanted a fire pit.
Yeah, you remember we voted on all those things. Like I still have my notes somewhere, and I can't remember. All I remember is sunken living room.
Sunken living room, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great design. But I met Bobby Burke through there, and Bobby is obviously a great designer and a great guy. But anyway, so again, Glenn, thank you for introducing me to all these great people. But what I love about this, remember, you know that old picture of the fountain, the soda fountain place, with like Marilyn Monroe and James Dean and Humphrey Bogart sitting at the counter. The diner.
Nighthawk.
Like, to me, if I had to like get all the A-list celebrities today, like Lady Gaga and those kind of people, I would want them in that bar. I would want them sitting at that bar, right? That looks like that's the bar they should be sitting at. It's phenomenal.
I love it. All right. Do we have one?
People know that was not an inexpensive thing to put together. So you really went out of your way to say, hey, I'm here and I'm ready.
All right. So that's the bedroom that you designed to go along with that, right?
Yeah. And it was using new technologies by the sponsors. It was 3 sponsors that were primary on this. Howard Baldinger with
he's a great guy.
He's a fantastic guy. Montague Furniture and Phil Do Fabrics.
Right. Awesome.
It's
absolutely beautiful.
It's
all right.
Brilliant.
All right. So we're starting to run low on time. Let's make this our last slide. This is freaking cool looking.
This was the booth that I designed 2 years ago. Before I launched my company, I'd done it as sort of a side thing on evenings and weekends for the same show for BDNY in 2018.
It looks like a rooftop. It looks like it could be a cool rooftop.
Yeah. It was. I'd long wanted to do an entirely enclosed space for one of these booth bars.
Yeah.
And this was an opportunity to do that.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. Congratulations. All right, Mike, we've got to start wrapping up. So tell us once more about your firm. How can people find you? All of that kind of good stuff.
You can find us at www.suomidesignworks.com, or you can look us up on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I'm super excited to have my new firm. It was either the smartest thing or the dumbest thing in the world to launch my firm just before the pandemic hit.
Well, you know the answer to that question. It was the smartest thing. In my book, I talk about leverage. You were at a 10.10 in leverage as far as it was now or never. Like, you probably actually waited too long in your mind, but when you did it, you're like, this is the right time. You're like, oh shit, this is the wrong time. Well, no shit, it's the right time, because you had the right leverage, because you can use all your leverage from your career. But congratulations. If you wouldn't mind, throw me your cell phone in the comments. I want to call you. I want to ask you a specific question. And so I have it in your phone because once I get off these meetings, I forget and I lose my way, and especially today because we're headed down to do another show tomorrow in Atlantic City. And Michael, just Glenn, do you know Michael personally, or how did this come to be?
I've interviewed him a few times over the years. We know each other. I can't say that we know each other personally as much as anecdotally and been in the same place in the same time.
Again, thank you so much.
I think the last time, Glenn, we talked all about TWA, which was great. Thank you.
Just prior to the opening, wasn't it, or right around the opening last year?
No, it was about a year before, I think, maybe 8 months before.
I don't know. It's all kind of like.
Glenn, I will email. I'll connect you with Tyler Morse.
Thank you. I very much appreciate that, Michael. So great to see you here today. We'll have to have you on again when some of these projects actually open up. Thank you,
Michael, and I wish you nothing but the best. And thank you for loving this industry as much as I do. It shows in your design. It shows in your heart. And so thank you so much. It was an honor and a pleasure to meet you.
Anthony and Glenn, thank you for having me on. Start traveling. Start staying in hotels.
Yes. Yep. Especially the ones designed by Michael.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you later. All right, so I was just about to bring on producer David, who's standing by, but he got dropped off. So we're gonna have to stall for a second until he comes.
I tell you, just I'm talking this weekend to myself, and I'm like, I don't really like Len that much. I don't want to do shows with him anymore. I don't want to be his friend anymore. And then you introduced me to somebody I love.
Well, I knew it was coming. So as a last minute resort, I pulled him out. All right,
just so nobody takes that out of the way.
All right, so here we go. Let's go to our mobile cam.
We have a mobile cam on this show. That's how good we are. What are we looking at, Glenn? I know what we're looking at. We're looking at the poker room.
We are looking at Borgata. That's where producer David is right now. We're gonna be headed down there in just a few minutes. That's why, because we're gonna be interviewing Melody Johnson, brand new president and CEO of this amazing resort. We're gonna be talking to her all about what it's like for her to have that job and what they're doing to get people back and what the experience is like.
Since you have this shot, let me tell you what happens. Yep. Like anytime I have a second and I can get away, my little vacation is a half a day at the Borgata to play cards. So I go through that valet. I get in there. I'm always anxious. I'm always nervous. And I always have like a little budget, $400, $300 of what I'm going to play cards. And like, okay, how many buy-ins I need? Okay, I'm just spending $400. That's it. And then if I could get to day one, then I stay and then I'll book a room. And like, I have this whole anxiety just seeing this picture of like kind of and I miss it. Like, I miss it so much.
Well, we did that for you to get you all excited about it. Hopefully to get all of you folks to understand that we're trying to get out there, get on the road. Now, if you have a great hotel and you want to talk about maybe us coming out to your property to broadcast, we're open for those opportunities. Also, if you're looking to sponsor the show, we're open for those opportunities as well. Please reach out to me, Glenn at rouse.media, ROUSE.media, or just check us out on our social media.
And David, start working on, or Glenn, start working on the Hard Rock guitar in Hollywood. I've been seeing a lot of pictures of it.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Ready to go to Florida yet because we have to quarantine.
I'll tell you what, we went round and around with those folks. I don't know what the heck happened to them. But today, I want to congratulate Dale Hipsch, who's one of the top executives over there, for celebrating 10 years at Hard Rock International. That just came up on my LinkedIn feed. Not like I knew that personally, but pretty interesting you brought up the Hard Rock thing. You got to get back down there.
We interviewed Dale, didn't we?
Yeah, we at the Forbes event a year and a half ago.
So once we don't have to quarantine when we go to Florida, we're going.
Yep, absolutely.
We just have to do it live without their permission.
All right, so Anthony, let's get going because we got to get down to Atlantic City.
Well, I just want everybody to understand, okay? We have one of the world's greatest designers on, and we have a mobile cam, okay? This show is getting to levels that no one ever expected to. We have a mobile producer out there for you. Like, look, what other show out there about hospitality can do this?
I know. They can't. None of them compete. I love you guys out there that are doing it, but you can't compete with us. That's because we're going to keep doing it the best. All right, Anthony.
It really just comes down to having these kind of guests. I mean, this man has got credentials coming out of his ears.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you got that right. All right. So you guys are looking for a little bit more success in your business. Well, that's what Anthony's all about, helping you guys with hospitality success, giving you folks out there the tools you need to be successful in this challenging hospitality environment, right?
Anthony? So go to Facebook.com or go to Hospitality Success Facebook.com. Facebook, Hospitality Success on Facebook, or hospitality guys, or my new company I just launched that Glenn doesn't even know. It's called Poker Success. No, just kidding.
That's really hysterical. I was looking for a comment here. Sorry, I'm not quick enough. Oh, yeah. Anthony won at poker?
Well, I will tell you this, John Brinkman, who probably watched my stupid poker tournament. Well,
that's why he's saying that.
Right. I will just tell you that last year I traveled a lot, and every single time I worked, I played poker if I could. And I will just tell you I won last year. All right?
Yep. All right. One last look. There it is. Thanks all for being here. We will be there live tomorrow, coming at you from the Level 1 bar, hopefully with a lot of different points of view. And we're going to have our mobile cam set up again, Anthony, so you can tour around and check stuff out. I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to saying prayers at the poker room because I know they're closed.
Well, let's hope. We're gonna. I put together a speech with my condolences and stuff for you. So we'll see how that goes. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for all the love and support that you give us and us building this community. And remember, you've got one life, so blaze on and
be kind to yourself.
See you guys tomorrow from Atlantic